3.
Hello everyone, I'm Kat with Kat's Semi-Sustainable Homestead, and I got a really great present for my birthday, and I've decided to do a little series on it. I like to make bread, and I do it the normal way, but ta-da! I got a bread machine. It's my first bread machine, so I'm super excited. It's a kitchen arm, has 29 features. I've already tried it out a couple times, but in this series, I'm going to just do a loaf of bread every time I'm off of work, which I'm a nurse, so that's like, what, three to four times a week is what I'll be doing. And we'll see a different bread. Today, if you can see how small this print is, and I decided to take a picture of it so I could see it easier because my eyes are old. I'm going to do a 2-pound loaf so you can see the difference by expanding on the picture. So that's what I'm going to do. It's pretty simple. It's really simple. I'm going to go, like I said, with the 2-pound loaf. Got my trusty dusty scale. I've got that I use for everything. I cleaned it off. There's no chemicals on it for my glazing, as you can tell. I'm also a potter. Anyway, so let's get started on this. We're just going to do it. Okay, so I'm going to start with 90 grams of cheese. So I've already tared my scale and I've washed my hands. And I'm going to get out 90 grams. Now I'm going to be honest with you, and most things cooking, I'm not I'm not weighing it out. But in this one, since it's the very first time I've done it, you better believe I'm going to. Because see, I would have gotten just a few strips away from that. Okay, I'm going to go back to my old ways probably. Okay, there we are. 90.2 grams, close enough. Now I've pre-warmed the water. This is my husband's phone. He's recording with my phone. His phone goes off really quick. Okay, so I've already done 270 grams of water and warmed it up to 100 degrees. So the key is in this recipe, it says to mix the cheese into the very hot water, or into the warm water, I should say. And mix it, mix it, mix it. It said stir. Okay. Get all the cheese out of there. So I get my exact weight, which was about what my measurement said. So I am dissolving the cheese. I'm stirring the cheese up, getting it soft in the water. Okay, so I'm going to now do, okay. And I'm going to add in the fact that I'm an Android and he's an iPhone user. So everything's different. Okay. Next, I'm doing unsalted butter. I'm melting it, 2.5 tablespoons, which is right here. I pre-melted it so you wouldn't have to listen to the microwave going. Now I need 2.5 tablespoons of white granulated sugar. 2.5 tablespoons. Got my tablespoon thing here. I've got my sugar. Okay, so first I'm going to do this. I'm going to mix the cheese and water. I'm going to open this up, and on the outside I have this. I'm putting my paddle in, and you can see that on one side it's flatter, and that's what is going to do this. Okay, so paddle is in. I'm going to mix this, finish mixing this up and making it soft. Cheese got to be soft. Now it's always recommended, they said, to do it out here because if you spill the flour inside or the water or the whatever, you can mess up your element. And so it's a bye-bye bread machine. So we can see it's kind of stringy. So it's gotten warmed up. So first I'm putting it in. Kind of looks gross. Oh. So we are doing this. Making sure I get all the cheese out. And the last little, I guess that little nubbin's gonna not happen. Okay, putting that over here. Next I have I put in my unsalted butter, which is right here. And I put just a tiny bit more to account for all the drippage that doesn't get in there. Okay. Then I have my sugar, like I said, 2.5 tablespoons of sugar. One. Two. And remember, this is a 2-pound loaf. It recommended starting with a 1 or a 2 pound. And 1/2. Okay, there's that. Set this aside. Now I'm going to do salt, 1.5 teaspoons, which I didn't get. I'm sorry, 1.25 teaspoons. Like making sure to not spill too much in there that's not. 1. Okay. Get that out of the way. Then I have my bread flour, which I need to put in. For bread flour, it is 482 grams. And I just want to show that it is really fresh bread flour. As you can see on the top, I just got it. We have a better chance. I use just regular active dry yeast for bread machines. Most people say no, 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 but I've been using that since even way, way before I had a bread machine. I use that for my regular bread because I like a denser loaf sometimes, and so. Oh well. Now I'm just going to spill flour everywhere. And so I'm using this to measure the flour in. I'm going to tear this out to make it zeroed on my scale. And I'm 282 grams. Okay. Next time I'll separate out my cups. I'm at 160 now. I'm going for 282. It's always best, it said when I was reading it, to make sure everything's room temperature when you're using it. And I keep my yeast frozen. And so I was letting it set out. I measured it, pre-measured it, because I wanted to let it get back to room. 282, 282.8. I don't think a 0.8 is going to make a big difference. So what I have to be careful about here is putting this on top. You want the layers of the flour to get on top of it, because you're going to make a little divot in it and put your yeast, because it doesn't want the yeast to start activating too early. Can you believe we're almost at the end of the problem here? Mixing everything. We don't even have to mix it. We're just measuring out some ingredients, and anybody can make bread this way. Okay, so there's that. I'm just gonna level it out a little bit. Pre-washed hands, people. Make a little divot. Not all the way down, but make a little divot there. And put my yeast in. Right in the little divot. That's the extent of it. Mixing it. Now, I'm going to put it in. And if you see, you kind of have to go at an angle and then twist it to put it in. And it's in. And I plug it in. Thank you, trusty dusty scale. Okay, so according to this, I have to go to menu 15 cheese, because it has to do a special thing to keep the cheese from getting bad. So I'm going to go to 15. Kind of have to go through this. And it's going to be medium crust, which is just fine with me, and start. That's it. It's going to go through a few cycles. It's going to go through a couple different rising cycles. It's going to go through the kneadings, then the risings, and then it's going to beep partway through, and if I need to add something at that phase, like nuts or fruits or whatever, which I'm not going to do on a cheese bread, you can add it then. Anyway, 3 hours and 23 minutes. We'll come back as we get closer, and I'll maybe show a little bit in between of the kneadings. And that's it. We'll come back later. Thank you. There we go with the first knead after it's done its preheating. I don't know, can you see? Yeah. Mixing in that cheesy goodness. All right, we'll keep going. Okay, looking at rest 3. We've got the 2-pound medium loaf of crust. And it looks doughy in there. I mean, pretty liquidy, not like a real good dough. So I guess we're going to see how that turns out. I'm not going to tweak it yet because this is my first time making this bread. I want to tweak it so bad, but I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to be good. All right, continuing on. Okay, now we're going into the knead 4. Let's see what it does. It looks pretty doughy. It looks pretty doughy. Okay, knead 4. I'm going to leave it be. We're just going to see. We're going to see. What's it doing now? Oh, still kneading. Okay. Okay, now we're looking at the rise. Let's see. Still looks liquidy. We'll see. I'm going to do this. Maybe it'll do something. Okay, we'll be back. So, we have bake on the 2-pound loaf, but look what's happened inside. It's really shrunk down. It has not risen very much at all. But anyway, once again, I'm just going to leave it be and see how it does. We're going to keep checking. Go. Okay, I'm back. It is done. It sure shrunk down a lot more than I thought, and it did not rise as much as I thought. But I'm going to take it out real quick. Always using twisting, pulling up. You can kind of look in it. Unfortunately, that's a 2-pound loaf that's not. My other bread I made rose up all the way to almost to the top. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it's a very dense loaf of bread. In a couple minutes, I'll pull it out and I'll show it to you. We'll be back in a moment.
Go!
Okay, so I'm going to take this out of the pan. The fact that it had risen up a lot, it's probably going to make it a little more difficult to get out, but let's see how it does. And the pan's still hot. I only waited like 5 minutes. Oh, it came out. Okay, well, at least it did that. And then here's, you can see in the pan where the kneader flap thingy is still in there. It didn't stick into the bread loaf, but I guess this is what 2 pounds of cheese bread looks like. I'm going to let it cool down. I'll cut it and we'll taste it after it's cooled. Alrighty, we'll be back again. Okay, so just to show, this is what came of the entire loaf of bread. 2 pounds loaf of bread. Got 3 pieces. Well, that one's kind of like a huge crumbly piece, but we're just gonna call this one that it didn't work. I should have probably put a little bit more yeast, a little bit more flour, and maybe next time I will, but next time you'll get to see a cinnamon roll bread, and then after that a white bread of some sort. Okay, I hope everybody has a great day, and if you try this, you might want to add just a little bit more flour, or maybe it just didn't rise all the way because it was disrupted by something. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.